Okay, we are going to start in Module 1 talking about what makes a good friend. What are the qualities that you look for in people to make sure that they're going to be a good friend to you. Now that looks different for everyone, but there are some universal truths. Before we do that though, let's remind ourselves, why is it crucial that we have these solid friendships? Friends are so important for so many things. They help us with our social well-being and our mental health. They help us feel less lonely, and they help us feel connected to an area, to a group, to a situation. They can kind of ground us and make us feel welcome. It empowers us. When we have friends, we feel empowered that we know people like us for who we really are and that we are welcome. It can actually bully-proof our kids. So bullies go for the kid who is standing alone. When they have a place to be, they feel like they have a space that is for them with these friends, they won't be such an easy target. And like I said, it gives them a sense of belonging. It also is a great confidence booster, because when we know people like us for who we are and they like spending time with us, it makes us feel good about ourselves. So friends are crucial. Lots of different friends, different types of friends, different quality, levels of quality. There's best friends and there's acquaintances and there's friends you hang out with at the ball field and friends you hang out with when you're studying, all different types of friends, and those are all fantastic. Born and raised Girl Scout, right? My whole life, make new friends, keep the old. Some are silver and some are gold. Some are going to be incredible, true friendships that are going to last lifetimes. Some are going to be okay friends, and that's great too. So we've got to figure out though, before we can figure out how to find these friends, we've got to figure out what we're looking for. What makes a good friend? So the first thing I look for to help my kids with this is that they've got to have similar values, similar likes and dislikes. They don't have to like all the same things, but it needs to line up. If one is extremely athletic and only wants to be outside, that's all they want to do, and the other one really does not enjoy that at all, that is going to be a tricky friendship to foster. So think about like your friends, right? If you have completely different values and different things that you enjoy and like, it can be really hard to stay friends with these people. So for example, if you've decided that you're not going to be hitting your children, you're not spanking, you're not hitting them, and you have a friend who does do that, it can be really hard to stay friends with that person. Watching that, if you fundamentally disagree with that, it can be really tricky to stay friends. Or maybe you enjoy drinking a glass of wine with girlfriends and going out and having a good time, but you've got a friend who refuses to drink alcohol for whatever reason, doesn't want to drink, doesn't like to drink, can't drink. That can be really tricky because one is going to end up judging the other one. It just usually doesn't work all that well. Or think about if you enjoy fast food and treats and desserts and you enjoy those things, but you have a friend who is organic, vegan, and thinks sugar is the devil. That's going to be a tricky relationship for her with you and for you with her. There's just going to be a lot of misunderstandings and not really understanding the person. So values need to line up. Being a good friend comes down to a couple of things, right? You want to find somebody who is honest, who is going to be fair. They're not going to cheat the game and constantly trying to be first. They're compassionate and empathetic. They're helpful. They want to help you. They're generous. Maybe they share things with you or give you things. They're polite. They lift you up. They're your biggest cheerleader. They help you when you're feeling excited and they help you when you're feeling low. So they're going to cheer you on. They're going to comfort you. And friends are generally happy for your success. They want you to succeed. They want you to reach across the monkey bars. They want you to win the championship game. They want you to get the promotion. People who maybe are not true friends maybe will feel more of the jealousy side of it. So those are some of the qualities of a good friend. Good friends also follow the golden rule. They treat you the way that they want to be treated. They appreciate that. They are not fair weather friends. I grew up with a lot of fair weather friends, so I can see this one coming a mile away. So fair weather friends are friends who say, I'll only do this if you do this, or you can't be my friend today because of X, Y, and Z, or, well, I'm not going to talk to you today because I'm talking to her today. That is not a true friend. You don't have to be together all the time to remain friends. You can say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna spend time with her today, but I want to spend time with you tomorrow. But it's that exclusion or the manipulative stuff, or, well, you can only be my friend if you go and do this for me first. That's what we want to stay away from. Good friends can be mad at each other without being mean back to each other. I was watching my youngest daughter and her best friend, and they got into a little tiff. And then they looked at each other, they said, we can be mad at each other, but we're still best friends, right? And they're, we're still gonna be best friends. They can be mad, they're just not going to be mean to each other. And that's really powerful for friends. Friends include and invite, we should invite so-and-so. She would love to come. We should definitely invite her, but let's invite her to come sit with us. They're includers. They listen to the words stop and no. A lot of the qualities of friendships are the same qualities of good siblings. So all the things that we've been talking about with sibling relationships, these are very similar for friendships. Good friends will stand up for you, or at least if they don't feel empowered to stand up for you yet, they'll stand by you. They will physically put their arm around you and say, you're not alone, and they can get you out of a situation if they can. And lastly, good friends, they not only accept your differences, they appreciate your differences. They like you for who you are. You don't have to change to be the kind of person that's going to be friends with this person. If they need you to change to be their friend, maybe this isn't going to be a solid relationship. Maybe this isn't somebody that we're wanting to spend time with. Good friends can be different, and it's great when they're different, but they need to appreciate their differences. So one of the ways that we can help our kids understand this is we can talk about good friends. We can read books about friendship. There's so many books about friendship. We can have conversations about friendship. So in the 60 kindness discussion starters, all of the orange ones are all about friendship. Things like, do you have to be friends with people who are unkind to you? Spoiler alert, no, you don't. What qualities would make a bad friend or someone who isn't a true friend? So those are those fair weather friends that I'm sure we've all experienced. Do friends have to like all the same things? Why? So getting them to talk about this. No, you don't have to like all the same things. But if one will only do this and one will only do this, it may not work. What makes a best friend a little different than a friend? So what are those qualities that make it something a little bit more special? And who are your parents' friends, and why do you think we're friends with them? So have them acknowledge, okay, this is my friend. Why do you think I'm such good friends with her? Well, it's because of X, Y, and Z. So talk through why you're friends with the people in your life so they can start to see why we surround ourselves with these types of people, why it's important to have these strong relationships with people who make us feel good about ourselves, who make us want to spend more time with them, because it will empower your kids. It will get them to be more confident in themselves. But if they're surrounding themselves with these kinds of people, that means they're surrounding themselves with kind people. And if they're surrounding themselves with kind people, they will then be more likely to be kind more often. It's really, really a fabulous way to just make it nice and easy. So the big question then is, how do you find these people for your kids? How do you guide them? Maybe they have like friends who don't lift them up, who don't have any of these qualities. How do you change it? How do you get them around better quality kids who are going to be kind more often? How do you find these kids? That's in the next module.